Alright, this is hopefully a first start video for a 12HT I rebuilt for a good friend of mine named Galen in Texas. Came out of a HJ61 Spanish truck, had almost 500,000 kilometers on it. 400, I think 65,000 kilometers to be exact. Ran great. This was a just wanted to kind of get ahead of the ball game, and these engines are known for the weak ring lands on the pistons. So I took this one apart. The ring lands were pretty beat up. Bored it 1 millimeter, put 1 millimeter oversized pistons in it with reinforced ring lands. Standard size camshaft, main bearings, and rod bearings. The head was rebuilt, new bushings, seals, new oil pump. I've vapor honed all the aluminum parts in my vapor hone machine over there. Powder coated as much as I could. Actually had a lot of stuff CAD plated, zinc plated, like all the hardware, the injection lines, and I clear powdered the injection lines afterwards. Did not do anything to the injection pump because I just there wasn't anything wrong with it. I spoke to an injection shop and they kind of recommended not to do anything to it as well. I filled the fuel filter with diesel. Tried priming the fuel primer, and the factory one was toast, so I had this Bosch unit on the shelf. I installed it and bled up to the bleed here, and then bled the fuel all the way to the injectors. Since these injection lines were CAD plated and powder coated, I did put a piece of plastic, took all the lines off, put a piece of plastic between the line and the injector just to get any potential debris out of it. And when I had good fuel, I put the lines back on. Cooling system is completely open on it. I didn't have a water pump. He didn't send me one, so I didn't hook any of that up. The water pump's off. He didn't send an exhaust manifold or turbo because initially it was just going to be kind of a long block build, but I really wanted to see this thing run after having it apart. So a friend of mine let me borrow the exhaust manifold off a 2H and the bell housing. He did not have a bell housing plate, so that's why you see these washers spacing the bell housing from the block, so it's kind of mimicking the bell housing plate. Same thing on the starter. He also let me borrow a flywheel, and I had 5 flywheel bolts, but I think it'll be okay just for a quick start. Starter already had, it came on the engine I bought off eBay, so I actually wasn't quite sure if it was 12 or 24 volt, and fortunately it was 12, so just one battery there. I filled the oil filter up. No dipstick tube, but I've had a few of these engines, so I know the oil capacity. I filled that up, and I think that's ready to go. It's bled, oil's in it, and my very pregnant and beautiful wife came downstairs. It's going to be loud because, again, no collector, no exhaust. I actually didn't even install exhaust manifold gasket because I didn't want to use the new one and kind of sacrifice it. I wanted it for Galen to have the new one for the manifold. So no gasket. It's going to be noisy. Got a window open with a fan, getting the exhaust fumes out. We're going to shut the door because it'll be loud. This is another 12HT I rebuilt, by the way, as well. This was a new old stock long block I bought that had gotten moisture in one of the cylinders, so I rebuilt the, well, I say rebuilt, bored it 1mm over and put 1mm over pistons in it. It had never ran, so reused all the bearings. I'll do a startup video on it next. Got another 12HT stashed away here that needs a rebuild. This big gray box is another new old stock 12HT, and I've got a 12HT in my 60 there, and 3B turbo in the 40 that I robbed the battery out of to start this engine. So I'll let her hold the phone. I've got a micro switch wired up to the starter solenoid, so it's kind of easier. I don't have to touch wires to it. So hopefully it'll start, and I don't want to hold your ears. Getting really smoky, so I'm going to open this door. Wait, you can stand over here. You can stand there. Just going to give it a little bit of fuel. Doesn't need to be smelling this or hearing it. Sounds good. I'm trying to think of anything else I might have missed. Gonna let it idle long enough, maybe a minute. Eyes are burning because the exhaust fumes, so I'm gonna cut it short. I was expecting the smoke. I wiped the cylinders down with oil when I assembled it, so I was fully expecting that. just because I wasn't sure at that point when I was going to start it, and if it sat for a while, I wanted the cylinders kind of oiled down. So that's the reason for that bit of smoke on startup. I did, since the turbo is off, I plugged the oil feed ports for the turbo and the alternator, blocked off that return. Again, cooling system's open. You can kind of see here I put all new push rod tube sleeves in the cylinder head. And sorry about the usually not the way I like to do things, but hodgepodge of parts to kind of get it started, because I didn't want to pull parts off my engine. So you can see I got a bearing race there, just random bolts holding the exhaust manifold, and these washers. I didn't put them on the inside because the stud here and here, but there I was kind of put them how I wanted them. I think that's about it. If you like video, give me a thumbs up, and I'll do another video on the other 12HT I rebuilt. So alright, you guys have a good one.